Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing just a mid-month budget check-in. I know in the past I've tried to do a weekly check-in one time. I've obviously missed that for the month of April, but I wanted to check in during the middle of the month at least, talk about how the month of April is going for me, and talk about how the rest of the month is likely to go. So first things first, I also want to give like a health update. I did post on my community tab that I was in the hospital. I'm out of the hospital now, if that's not obvious by me posting this video, but I am doing a lot better. I mentioned in that post that I was dealing with a kidney infection and it had ended up that I went into septic shock. So, not life comes at you fast. That's just all I'll say about that, I guess, is not exactly what I was expecting right after my vacation because I did have a week off at the end of March and I came back to work that first day and I was feeling some pain in my back, but I thought I'm working, so like I don't want to take any time off, obviously. I just went to work. But it kept getting worse. I had to go home at the middle of the day. I tried to sleep it off, and clearly sleeping it off didn't work because I ended up at the hospital and everything that happened. So I am dealing with a kidney infection and a kidney stone that was like blocking. The way they described it to me is like it's blocking the passage from like the kidney to the bladder. So you can imagine that wasn't doing too well for me. That wasn't something that was helpful for me as far as like healing goes. But I do have a follow up with like my own doctors because I've had kidney stones in the past to just figure out what's going on. So I'm glad to be alive. If that's not clear, I do feel a bit like, not in like shock, but I just feel a bit kind of beside myself because I was not expecting to almost die. I'm still processing a lot of things from that week, but I didn't feel like I was close to dying. But I guess you don't know what that feeling is. And another thing about sepsis is that it just rapidly, once your body, like the infection has taken over to like a certain point, it can cause like your organs to try to shut down. So like my blood pressure was dropping quite a lot that first night in the hospital, and it was, I guess, just a very tenuous time. But I have made a very good recovery. I am young, so that shout out to being young. Um, so I feel like that helped with the recovery. And I do have my kidney function has recovered. I have one kidney, so I can't really just mess around with it, or I have to take it pretty serious if I'm having issues. But I my kidney function has recovered, so that's great. So I know, pretty all over the place as far as like a health update goes, but I wanted to make sure I got that out of the way. Thank you all for your support. Um, it was it was a long week. I'm not gonna lie. So I'm glad to be out of the hospital. I'm glad I do have to do a lot of follow up appointments, but that's fine. I'd prefer that rather than being in the hospital or a different outcome. So yeah, so that's how that's going. Before I almost died, I did have that week off, and that vacation before I got sick was great. I didn't really do anything. I just spent some time by myself, like just living, just being alive and enjoying having time off. And then I spent a few days in Pittsburgh, which was really nice, with my sister and her friend. And we got to go to like multiple museums. Like we went to the Carnegie Art Museum, um, went to the Mattress Factory, uh, went to a few different places. So it was a good time. I'm very glad I got to do that, and I'm also glad that I wasn't sick. I guess the week that I had off from work. Um, I know, yeah. So because I ended up being sick the day after I came back, so crazy timing as that goes. Um, but because of my vacation, I did go way over budget in the month of March. So April, I've been trying to rein it back in. And I'm just gonna go through like my different categories and talk a little bit about how what my activity has been in April and like what's going on in comparison to my April budget with me. And also just update some of my expenses because I need to. So, yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to say before I go into this. I don't think so. Oh, what I was gonna say was after my near death experience, I do have a bit of a shifting perspective towards work. So, I, of course, have mentioned in the past that my job has been very stressful for me. Um, and I don't know if it's a good fit for me because I came back from work. I came back to work. So I was in the hospital Monday through Friday, and I came back to work the following Monday. And I remember just everything that was happening with my job and just feeling like it did not matter because it doesn't, you know. And the like in the grand scheme of my life, my job is just a job. It's something I have to do to pay the bills. It's not something that defines my life. It's not something that my life, I really don't want my life to revolve around it, but at this point it has. Um, and I just don't think that's how I want the structure of my life to go going forward. I kind of see, I've been saying a lot, like to people, to my friends, I guess, that it's like, I'm kind of seeing this without sounding dramatic. It's like I'm kind of seeing this more or less like a second chance. So it's like if I was brought back to life. It sounds so dramatic when I say it, but it's like if I was brought back to life, you know, from I was at the near death. So then if I was brought back to life, was I really brought back to life to be on a Teams meeting or to be dealing with emails about very particular pointless issues that shouldn't really concern anyone on this planet, you know what I mean? Just like the boringness of office work and like the level of stress that comes with it in a way. It's like it's more stressful than it should be. I guess I could do a whole thing about just work and work culture, especially office work, but I don't that's just a lot of things I've been thinking about is just, is this really what I'm meant to be doing when I have so little time on in my life? So should I really be like this stressed out and this miserable all the time? Because I have tried to like, you know, set boundaries at work. I've tried to, you know, take control of my time, but it's not the position that allows you to do those things. The second you start doing those things, people act like you're not doing work because you're not doing things they want, or you can't fit. I can't fit like 2 cups into a 1 cup jar or whatever of water, for a terrible analogy. But I won't go on about that for too long. Just something I did want to mention is like, how should I restructure my life in light of not just like being critically ill, but also being just going on vacation and spending more time just trying to have my days be designed how I actually enjoy them. And I know I have to have a job, so what kind of work can I do that is more in harmony with the rest of my life? How is the age old question? How do I find the balance? Right. So that's all I'll say about that. But April is going well so far. I'm gonna zoom in on YNAB. I use the budgeting software You Need a Budget, and just so I can see a little clearer. As far as like my holding category, I have next month's spending. It's okay. Focus on now. I do have some money that I have to spend from the gifts category. I have a bridal shower I'm supposed to go to. For food, I budgeted $350. So far I've spent $127.95. So I'm filming this on April 16th. So I am I'm on track to like I'm spending I don't know how to describe this. So I've spent 127.95, so I still have a good amount left over. As far as like groceries are going, when I came out of the hospital, I was like, I don't even know what to eat anymore. It really messed with my appetite. So that first week back, I didn't really eat anything extravagant or exciting. I've been eating a lot of cereal, which I hadn't eaten cereal in a while. There's someone's car alarms going off. Sorry if you can hear that. I feel like I film a video and everyone's just like, how can I make this as loud as possible? But I'm still using Home Chef. I did take a few weeks off because I had my vacation and I was in the hospital. So I'm back to that. I'm gonna get my first shipment again next week. Thinking about doing a video on Home Chef, but that's about $70 a week on the weeks I do it. So the $222 should be enough for the rest of the month as far as that goes. For housing, I obviously spent $8.58 on my rent, and then I've spent $2 just doing some laundry in my apartment complex. Haven't really had this expense in a while, but because I had been doing my laundry at my boyfriend's place and I'm still doing it all there, but there was just some stuff that I wanted to get done ASAP. So because I just needed clothes to wear and I didn't want to wait to like take it over to his house. That's why I did the laundry. Utilities. So electric. I said that it was $25.56. Let me see if that's correct. Oh gosh, I'm like throw my phone. I think it is. This is what I mean by like, I just need to go through and make sure my budget is still up to date. It's not looking too hot. So it is $25.56. Oh, I see what I did. So I need to go over. I'm gonna move this 44 cents out of here and just put it back into ready to assign since I don't need it. For the electric bill, it only comes out once. I'm gonna come over to my tracking or my checking account and update this and just approve the transaction since it's accurate. And I'm going to put in a Zelle transaction because I sent some money to so I sent some money to my boyfriend. So $32. And this is actually coming out of my medical category because I had him order some probiotics when I got out of the hospital from Amazon, and I just did it under his account. So did that. Oh, see, this isn't accurate. I did it the wrong way. It's $25.65. So I'm glad I'm doing this. So $25.65 is how much my electric was, and now I can reconcile it because my current account balance is that $2,580 amount. So I'm going to cover this with ready to assign. So I just transpose the numbers. That's fine. Gas. Okay, so I know how much my gas was. I just got a text message about this. It's $51.85 will come out on 4/19. So I'm going to update this pending transaction, or not pending, like scheduled transaction, and I'm going to change it to $51.85. Oops, I just hit the microphone. Hopefully you can't hear that, but $51.85 for my gas payment. They need to turn off the pilot light in my furnace. It's been 80 degrees all week, and having that on makes it significantly harder to cool down the apartment. So I need to message my landlord about that. As far as other expenses, let me go back. So internet hasn't come out yet. Phone did just come out, and I think the cents is off. I don't know why this changes all the time, but instead of $37.23, it's $37.19, so it's really not that different. And I did have the Athletic subscription come out. The Athletic is like a sports news website. I just like the coverage, and they keep giving me a $1 like intro rate every time I go to cancel for a month. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So I'll just keep doing it. So looking at, it says I have 4 new transactions to import or whatever. Okay, So Home Chef, it matched. That's correct. Ice cream, I did spend $7 on ice cream. I spent $4 at Sonic. In my mind, summer has officially started because I it was hot and because I got a blue raspberry slushy with Nerds from Sonic. So that's like the ringing in of the summer season. And I know it's only April, so technically spring like just started, but I work in higher education, and I kind of go on how my job is preparing for stuff. So we've been preparing for summertime, the summer semester, for quite a while now. So in my head, I'm like, it's already started. In fact, it might already be over. Like um, and so like I kind of just go off the weather. I don't really care what the calendar says. So yeah. So I do need to put in like another transaction onto this Quicksilver card. This is a credit card. I put all my spending on here because this is like my daily driver, I guess. Because it just has like a standard 1.5% cash back. So I'm pulling up my account now. So 3232 on the Journey card is correct. Oh, okay. So reconciled, and then $996 is my current balance. Not ideal, but I did it to myself. Oh my gosh, why does it do this? It's so disrespectful. Okay, I hate that. Only when I like try to film a video does this crash. Okay, try again. Let me go on back. And you can tell I have like a million tabs open on my computer, so oops. Kind of always do that. So, oh, one thing I want to mention. Let's look at some of my recent expenses. Let me just zoom on in. Cycle bar. So that's my spin membership. Oh gosh, is it gonna crash again? It did again. I can't stand it. I'll try to film a video. I'll try to do it. I feel like everything's just against me sometimes. So, Cycle bar, $139. I had asked them if they could pause this because I currently can't exercise due to just a bunch of boring medical stuff I don't want to get into. So I can't exercise at the moment. So I asked them if they'd pause it for at least a month, and the payment went through a few days later. I had not gotten no response, and then they responded to me a few hours after that. It felt intentional, I'm not gonna lie, that they waited for the charge to go through before responding to me, but the answer they gave me was yes, I can pause it for a month. And since I wasn't able to do it in time for April, what they're going to do is not charge me for May, but what I paid, basically this credit I paid for in April, I can use like May to June, if that makes sense. So it's like I'm just paid up a month. Yeah, so that's fine. You know what? I had the money. I started off the month planning on spending it. I just thought it was a big expense, and since I wasn't going to be using it at all, maybe they could pause it. So now I know. And I'm glad that at least I won't have to pay for it in May, but I did have to spend $139 on my spin membership, and I can't use it. So kind of sucks, but that's all right. And then as far as like the rest of my expenses, we talked about the laundry, Sonic, talked about my phone bill came out. A lot of these expenses down here, like, look at this. This was like me just trying to reconcile my account after going on vacation. And like, I didn't do any of my charges that week. I like just wasn't tracking it. I did it all at once, and it was just so much to keep track of. So, trying to be more on top of it and trying to spend less so I don't have to like worry about it. So I spent some money at Target. I need to split this transaction. So it's $27.67 is what I spent. And I'm kind of already forgetting what I bought, but I know I bought something that I'm going to classify as medical. And we're just going to say it was $12. Like, it was like 10.50 plus a tip, not a tip. Oh my God. Could you imagine if you had to leave a tip at Target? It was 10.50 plus tax, I guess. So I don't want to do the math on that. And then what else did I buy? I bought a makeup brush. I bought some lotion. I'm just trying to think of what I bought and how I should categorize this. So $6 to there, and then $6 is spending, and then I'm gonna put the lotion under household. It just feels right to me. So $9.67. So there's that. And I went to a bakery today. Sorry, back on my bullshit. I'm always eating baked goods, I guess. So that comes out of my spending category, which I'm doing pretty well with. We can look at it more in depth in a second. But I spent $9.75 on like a cinnamon roll and something for my boyfriend. I bought some water at the mall today, so I'm just going to put water. And it was spending, and I got it from a vending machine, and it was $3.75. That's crazy. So now I know not to do that. But I was really thirsty. And back on my bullshit, I went to a bookstore and I spent $18.27. So yeah, that also comes out of spending. So got all that updated, and then I just want to make sure I go back and just put anything in that needs to be cleared, but I think it is. Okay, so Amex. I usually use my Amex for like groceries. Oh gosh, now it's telling me the system's not responding. So let's see if I've got anything. No, everything's up to date on this, so I can just reconcile it and clear everything. So I owe $227.34 on that, and then everything else is fine. But let's go back into like just my spending and see category wise how I'm doing. So just for the month overall. So for the month of April, we're halfway through the month, and I've spent $1,572.78. I don't think my burn rate is going to be quite as high for the rest of the month, because a lot of this, over half of this was my rent, because my rent comes out on the 1st. And then health and fitness, I spent $139 at the spin studio, as we discussed, and I've spent quite a bit on medical. This will go up because I have a medical bill I need to pay. I have a few actually, and of course, spending 5 days in the hospital, I'm going to have more. I will have more. Luckily, I have a $1,000 out-of-pocket max, and I've been watching the claims come in on United Healthcare like a hawk, and nothing has been like denied so far. And nothing is saying that it's out of network, because remember, I went to the emergency room. So I was already a couple $100s away from hitting my out-of-pocket max. So I'm actually feeling like my whole jaunt in the hospital is only going to be a couple $100. It's just whether or not that all settles before the end of the month, because as we know, medical bills could notoriously take about 10 years before they send you the bill, it feels like. But yeah, that should go up, but then hopefully go down for the rest of the year, because I just won't have any, like my insurance should be covering everything is essentially my point. So on in spending, I've spent $148.89. Oh, what have I bought? I actually feel like this is pretty good, all things considered. I spent $38 on a dress for Easter. I haven't dined out that much at all. Like, I had some ice cream, I had some chicken, and this right here was a cafe, and I was splitting it with my boyfriend, so it's fine. If I go down to the budget and I look at, where is it? Fun and spending. I originally budgeted $175, but I ended up transferring some money over here because I had some extra money in one of my categories, and I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to spend that, so I can move it over somewhere else. So I have $86.89 for the rest of the month, so hopefully that's okay. Um, Another reason why my total overall spending is down is because I haven't put any money into my Roth IRA yet this month. I mentioned in the beginning of April that I was planning on maxing out my 2022 Roth IRA. It's like about $2,300 away. But I just, oh, I was like, what happened? I couldn't even remember. So I was in the hospital, out of the hospital, but I was wondering if I should hold on to the money because I didn't know how much everything was going to cost me. I have literally tomorrow to make this decision because I'm right next to the deadline. I was worried about the medical bills, but I'm thinking they'll be fine, so maybe I'll go back and put that much money and max it out, and then I can focus on 2023. So just a thought. Food spending, not too bad, as like I said, $127.95. A lot of these have been trips to like the grocery store and $70 for Home Chef. If you want to try Home Chef, I have a $35 off your first box link that I'll put down below. But yeah, so then transportation. Oh, so something of note. So I spent $45.54 on gas so far, and I need to fill up again. But a big expense I had in transportation was I spent $80 on a parking pass at my work. My job is ridiculous. It requires you to pay for parking if you want to work, I guess. And I'd been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off because there is like one street that's like a 10 to 15-minute walk away from my job that has free parking. So I would always park there, which is fine. But since I have been going into the office a lot on a random schedule, and when I was leaving work that day that I was sick, I just didn't even feel strong enough to walk to my car. So I'm kind of just giving myself a bit of some leeway for the next 30 days and not trying to push it too hard because I don't know, but my body feels fragile at the moment. So $80 towards parking. That was my decision on that, and I don't know if I'll do it again next month, but we'll see. Utilities, $62.84. Subscriptions, $19.33. So everything is going pretty well so far. The biggest decisions I really have to make is whether or not I want to max out my Roth IRA. I'm still leaning towards yes, even though like things are a little uncertain as far as like student loans go and as far as like my medical expenses go. But medical stuff, like when I get those bills, I apply for financial assistance to try and knock off like at least 50% of the bill. And you always just have longer to. I just think my money will better serve me by putting it into a long-term investment account, and then paying any sort of medical bills as I go along. You just have more flexibility with that, but you only have one chance to really max out your investment, like your Roth IRA for that year. You can't go back in time. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, I'm gonna do it anyway, is what I'm leaning towards. I just was sick for that while, and I was just trying to, get back into the swing of things and figure out what's going on. So, yes. But, one last thing I'll say about, like, as far as someone's like laughing outside, it was so distracting. So, one last thing I'll say as far as, like, my life goes is like everyone keeps telling me like you need to take it easy, you gotta take it easy, and like I agree with that, but like my work keeps saying this to me, but they don't actually do anything to make my life easier. Like there doesn't seem to be any consideration or care to the fact that I almost died. And I mean, of course, like, I don't know. I just feels like a throwaway comment. Like, it's kind of hollow, um, which is kind of frustrating or difficult to deal with because I don't really know how to take it easy. I don't know what that looks like because I feel like my life has just been go, 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 go for so long. And that I'm at a point where I'm like, I keep pushing to keep going. But I think that's just not healthy. And I think it might even contributed to like the situation I'm in now. I mean, obviously I didn't do anything. I wasn't trying to do anything to like give myself an infection or whatever. But like kidney stones, like I've had them in the past, and I know there's certain things I can do to try and prevent them. Like certain things I can avoid essentially. Like a big one is like not drinking too much coffee or caffeine. And I haven't drank any coffee or caffeine since the start of April actually. So I am doing like it's been 2 weeks. So like I'm changing my habits. I'm reconsidering things because when I was in the hospital, I basically just like the caffeine withdrawal headaches can really impact you, but I was able to like basically just ice them out, I guess. And now it's fine. So I don't my body isn't like I need caffeine. I feel sluggish without it. Um so that's good. But like my point was I feel like if I wasn't so stressed out at work, I wouldn't have done things like drink so much coffee or not drink enough water during a day. And that's just not good. Like, if the level of stress and like something you have to deal with is making your physical health suffer, is that really a good job? Like, is that really like how you back to the restructuring my life thoughts? I don't know. It's all in flux, as it always is. I feel like every time I come on here, I have like a big new life update. So we will see what keeps happening with me. But all that to say, thank you for watching. If you let me know how the month of April is going for you. I hope it's been going well. I'm thinking about you all. I really am. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye now.